For everyone watching live on YouTube, it will be 1 second. We'll be going live on the radio show. It's taking me a little bit to get this going. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cold Blooded Radio, hosted on thetotalradio.com. Today, we're going to be starting Cold Blooded Radio, and we got a few topics we're going to be talking about. I hope you're having a great day on this Wednesday night. It's 9 p.m. Central Time, and I hope all the levels are good, and you guys can hear me good. Things are doing well here. If people remember me back in the day, I used to host Herp Radio. And today what we're doing is basically doing the same thing. The topics we're going to hit today are intro to the show. I did this sort of last, I would say maybe 3 weeks ago. I was playing around with the server. And now I have a mixing board. I have the microphones and everything else. So we'll go ahead and do an intro to the show. And then we want to go ahead and we're going to hit on the reptile market a little bit. We got a few emails about that. And we also got some emails about the venomous hobby. But it's going to go, we're going to talk about the venomous hobby because something happened at the recent Hamburg show. And then I want to touch on social media. Is it a blessing or a killer? First, let's go ahead and get the intro out of the way. For all the new listeners, my name is Gary Orner. I used to host Herp Radio about in 2008, 2009, and 2010. You can still find Herp Radio on blogtalkradio.com if you search for it. So the stuff's still out there, so you can find it. I don't own the rights to that. I can't download it. I can't figure out. I've logged into it, and I don't like the platform. I don't like how they limit me to time. They limit me to certain times I can be on air, and I'm only allowed to be on air for like 2 hours a day. I don't like that, so I just started my whole like big radio station. I can run 24/7 if I want, but you can research me there. See my last few shows before I did quit. You'll see that I had a co-host, and then we just kind of stopped doing it, and I miss it. So we started Cold Blooded Radio. Once in a while, you're going to hear my wife here also. She'll be coming on. Maybe my son, he'll be coming on. Maybe we'll talk about a few things that he likes to do or my wife likes to do. And who knows, I might even get my 8-year-old on here and we'll talk about what she likes to do also, because it is about the younger generation and where our hobby is going to be going. So my goal for this show is to make the animals the stars. That's my whole goal. I want them to be the reason that you tune in. I want them to be the reason that you're into the hobby. I see too many people get into the hobby because they think they can make $1 million breeding a ball python. And most of us know the people that's been breeding for years and years and years. Yes, there's money to be made, but it's not going to be, as easy as putting some ball pythons together and make your $1 million. But anyways, that's not why this show started. I want to get away from facing the money end of the business, the marketing end of the business. We will talk about the reptile market here and there. We're going to talk about it a little bit today. But I don't want that to be the focus. I don't want that to be the reason that people are tuning into this radio show. I want people to know that this is for the animals, and we're going to put them first here. So that's what it is. Think of it as being Herp Radio reborn. That's the best way I could tell you guys. That Herp Radio was something that I thought about back in around 2005, and I owned the site, thereptileroom.org. A lot of my friends probably clicking into the show right now remembers the reptileroom.org. And when I started reptileroom.org, I think it wasn't even the reptileroom.org. It was a forum on a place called Novagate, where you could lease a forum, and it gave you a subdomain, novagate.com/the-reptile-room. And I didn't even own the reptileroom.org at the time. And I just called the forum that. I think that was back in 2002, 2003. I started that. And not many people know the reason I started that was I was a regular on Bob Clark's forum. I don't even believe it's around anymore, Bob Clark's forum either. But I was a regular on there. And I met some people, and they were like, hey, let's start a forum. And, if you've been around me long enough, I just start doing things. And so I started the reptileroom.org, and around 2005, 2006, I started talking to my admin team and my moderators saying I wanted to do radio. And I didn't know how to go about it. The Blog Talk wasn't around then. You literally had to code the back end yourself. You had to know what you were doing. And I was just a young guy that it was dangerous. And I didn't know how to go about it. And around, I forget what year I found out about Blog Talk, but I think it was 2007, late 2008. And, I found Blog Talk, and I talked to some friends, and I started Herp Radio. And I did shows weekly for the longest time, years. And then I stopped it for a little bit. I should say that. And then I came back, and I had a co-host, Stephen Kelly. And we did some really cool shows. I have some really cool interviews up on there. If you go to blogtalkradio.com and you go ahead and search for Herp Radio or Gary Orner, I got Al Koritz up on there, Viper Keeper off YouTube, Stephen Kelly. There's a lot of people I interviewed on there that many other people couldn't interview because they wouldn't, the people I interviewed wouldn't go on them shows. So anyways, that's the intro. That's what we're going to be doing here. Think of it as Herp Radio. And if you're new to this channel or the station, guess what? It's going to be all about the animals. We're going to be doing live calls, except for this show. I will be having the live calls opened up next week. We're going to be having contests, giveaways. I got a t-shirt coming out for Cold Blooded Radio that you're going to be able to order. Hats. Travel mugs, whatever you want, really. You can put the logo almost on anything. The internet makes it really easy now. So that's it. That's what Herp Radio is, and that's what we're going to be doing. I do have a few people that has talked to me about advertising. I am going to try to get some advertising up. And the people that I'm going to be advertising right away are probably going to be the educational shows. They're going to get free advertisement from me. I'm not in this to make money. I'm not in this to make, get rich anytime soon. What I'm here to do is to advertise the hobby, like I keep saying. So that's that. We're going to focus on rescues. We're going to focus on the educational shows. If you get you some time on each show. My radio station actually has, let me see, 7 different shows right now. I actually do an NFL show and a Cleveland Browns show. My wife and I are going to co-host Whistling Radio. That's going to be pretty big. We have a pretty decent following for Whistling Radio right now. and they're excited. Friday at 9 p.m. Central Time. I'm sorry. We're going to be launching that show, and it's going to be everything about birds, everything from the finches to your large macaws and cockatoos. We're going to be talking about everything and anything under the sun. So that's going to be a fun show to do. And I got a few DJs that want to do a few shows themselves on here. So the radio station is a 24/7 internet radio station. I do own the rights to the whole server and the name. I am in the works to get rights to music, so we can actually have music station or shows and stuff like that. And if it does take off, I might purchase another one and go from there. But right now, it's really hard to fill 24/7. It is really hard. What I'm going to be trying to do is probably play loops at the night hours, and during the day I'm going to try to fill during the day first. So let's just dive right into the things. I had someone tell me, message me on Facebook and ask me what I felt about the reptile market. And this was 2 weeks ago. So the reptile market to me, when I'm coming back into this. I lost my collection a few years back. And as most people know about that now, I've been messaged about it and offered things and stuff like that. And it's all well and done. It was a tough thing for me, but we're here now. So I'm getting back into it. And the reptile market's different than when I was there. I'm starting to see Mexican black king snakes go for $300. I used to sell them things for like $40. And I'm starting to see alligators. People think alligators are worth a fortune now. And we're going to be talking about the alligators here in a minute because something happened at Hamburg. But I mean, people in Wisconsin are selling alligators like 4 foot for $400 or $500. I don't understand that. I'm not comprehending that. Alligators need more room than most people can give. I'm not saying that you cannot own an alligator. There are people out there that can own alligators. There are people that can properly house them, properly feed them, just like there are people out there that can properly have large snakes like Burmese pythons, reticulated pythons, your African rocks, your anacondas. They're out there, but I'm seeing an abundance of alligators, and that makes me worry about the market a little bit. When I go on the classifieds, I'm not seeing the corn snakes as much anymore, the king snakes as much anymore. It's literally, and it was bad when I was in the market, and I am a leopard gecko breeder. For anyone new that doesn't know who I am, I bred leopard geckos and some pretty rare morphs, but it's all leopard geckos and ball pythons. I mean, literally the classifieds are littered with ball pythons and leopard geckos. The only good thing about that is they're two great pets. They're two great animals for beginners to jump into the hobby. A ball python's not going to get enormous where they can't handle it. Leopard geckos are just terrific pets all the way around. So that's a good thing. But the market now, I was out of it for a couple of years, and it's changed drastically. I'm one of the people that's, how should I put it without upsetting people? I don't worry about what other people are pricing their animals at. I price where I feel my animals are worth. And to give you an example, if someone at a show is selling a super snow leopard gecko for $100 and I'm selling mine for $125, I'm not going to change my price to $100. I don't care what the other person is selling their leopard geckos for, or vice versa. If they're selling for $100 and I'm selling for $60 or $75, I'm not going to raise my price up to them. I don't worry about it that much. I price it off what I know, and if I price it off what I know, or what I used to know, some of these prices are just outrageous. I mean, I seen some ball pythons just listed the other day for like $8,000. And I'm not being mean about it, but it's just another mumbo jumbo morph. I'm like, okay, cool. And I mean, there are some really hot ball pythons out there. There's some really nice looking ball pythons. So, just like sunset, guys, sunsets are crazy still to this day. Before sunsets were proven, I'll let you guys know, At the Indianapolis show, a certain person that sells got boxes of Het Viper ball pythons and Het Sunset ball pythons from Brian Barczyk. And that's before they knew it proved out. I don't know. I don't know the whole story how the Sunset proved out after this, but he had totes of these snakes, and of course, the Viper ball did not prove out, and the Sunset did. Well, before anyone even knew that it proved out, my brother and I had Sunsets in our collection. But we just sold them off as normals. And I'm not playing. I am not teasing anyone here. You can go to John and ask him also. We had Het Sunsets and Het Viper balls, and it was told to us these were from the project. They were supposed to be Het, and the project did not prove out. So they're just normal ball pythons. But there's these large females. We thought we could buy some females to breed on our own. And we got some males, and we think we got a Lori ball. I have to dig up the pictures of it from that group. We picked out a really weird looking one from the Het Viper groups, and that was, I forget what year it was. It was a long time ago. We had these and we sold them off. So anyone that bought them snakes off us, some adult females, we were selling for like $125 back in the day, because we bought a lot off this gentleman because they were captive bred females, And we started selling them off for like $125 to $150, and they were normals, and they're not normals. They were Het Sunset. The Het Vipers, of course, were not anything, but the Sunsets were. So there could be, they'd be older today, but there could be Het Sunset ball pythons out there that people don't even know about, because once we got rid of ours, a few years later, the Sunset did prove out. But anyways, beside the point. So the reptile market to me is really something I got to dive into again, and I really, really do. I get lost. I just get lost about the whole thing. I'm trying to jump around between all the screens, guys, because I got a mixing board and I got a mixer in front of me. So if someone can't hear me, I apologize. I think I got everything hooked up. It's recording. Everything's showing. And if I'm too loud or too quiet, please comment on where you've seen the link. Comment on there so I know what to adjust. I did test the levels on recording, and they sounded pretty decent. I just want to throw that out there. So the person that messaged me about the reptile market, we had a really big conversation about it, a really in-depth conversation about it. I'm not educated enough in the market for the last 2 to 3 years. I'm just not, and I'm trying to get educated to know where the market's at, where the market's going. The person that messaged me knows that the market was something I used to talk about on Herp Radio, and I used to get in depth about it. So that's something we'll leave for another time. We're getting in depth about it. But right now, I want to talk about this story. This story in Hamburg. On November 2nd, a story launched about a mother furious that a 4-foot alligator sold to a teen son at a reptile show. I seen this story on the 3rd. It was the 3rd I seen the story. And I'm like, wow. And it was sold at the Hamburg, Pennsylvania show. And this is just me. And my buddy Al posted it again today and said there's not many people that sell 4-foot alligators at the Hamburg show. In the story, it doesn't say who sold it. It doesn't say who sold it. It doesn't say nothing. I don't want to throw names out there because names in one thread is getting tossed out there who sold it. But here's my issue. Okay. I'm against selling alligators anyway because they're going to be harder to take care of. They're going to be harder to take care of when they're adults. A 4-foot gator is not that big a deal. Yes, it's going to take up a lot of room. It's going to eat, but it's not like a 10-footer, 11-footer, or 12-footer still at that size. My big issue is the title of this says, Mother is furious that a 4-foot alligator sold to teen son at a reptile show. What the hell is someone selling a 4-foot alligator or any snake, period, lizard, any animal to a minor without the mother's permission or father's permission. I am not joking. When I used to do shows, I would have kids come up to me all the time. I'm like, I need your parents. Okay. Your parents have to be in front of me. I don't care if it was a corn snake, a leopard gecko, a king snake, a python. I did not care. Now, I will say this. If a parent came up to me and says, I want that Burmese python, and it's going to be for me and my son, that is on them. If I have an adult telling me, I will tell them how big the berm's going to get, all that good stuff. I will educate them to every aspect of that snake I know. But if an adult does it, that's on them. But a teenager getting a snake, I cannot believe it. The alligators now is with somebody. It's with a sanctuary. And this person is upset that it was sold to the person was 17 years old. So he's almost an adult, but still, what 17-year-old is going to be able to house an alligator? Correct. Where I see this is Pennsylvania is still one of the top states for freedoms of owning animals. And like I said, there are people out there that can own alligators. There are people out there that can house alligators correctly. I would say 99% of people cannot. But there are people out there, so I don't want to take that right away from them. It would be harder to do in Pennsylvania with our winters up here. I'm in Wisconsin, but Pennsylvania does get some nasty winters also. So you couldn't do an outdoor pen year round like you could down south. But anyways, this 17-year-old purchased this pretty easily for $150 cash. So in Wisconsin, go back to the market a little bit. I'm seeing 4 or 5 foot alligators put up for $500. But this 17-year-old walked into the Hamburg, Pennsylvania show and bought one for $150. And this person is trying to call for banning alligator sales in Pennsylvania. This person says that, it's illegal to sell in almost all the states surrounding Pennsylvania, New York, Maryland, Ohio, New Jersey, and Delaware. I'm from Ohio, guys. And Ohio used to be a very free state. I used to have a lot of venomous snakes there. I used to have a lot of different stuff. And now it's illegal to this day. I couldn't own venomous snakes in Ohio without a license and a permit. And that permit is almost impossible to get, which the state used to be one of the freest, and now it's stingy. It's stingy with its laws. And if Pennsylvania does, make it illegal to own alligators, don't look it for just to be alligators. This is where we need to police ourselves at the shows and not sell to minors. I mean, this is just a simple mistake of money and greed. 17-year-old comes up, has $150. The vendor wanted to make $150 and move the alligator. They sold it. That $150 transaction could be a brick in laying the new laws out in Pennsylvania. And I have some really good friends in Pennsylvania, and very, very good friends. And I would hate for their rights to be taken away because they're responsible because of an alligator sale at Hamburg. This is just crazy. Some people are saying, what's an alligator being sold, at there? I'm saying, what's any animal being sold to a minor? What's going on there? Where did our morals go? I mean, I do get if a 17 or 16-year-old comes up and buys a corn snake, a king snake, a ball python. Okay, I get it. I wouldn't do it, but I do understand them aren't harmful. Get it. But an alligator, oh my God, a venomous snake. So my question is this 17-year-old went up and tried to buy a monocle cobra or a crate or any type of viper or rattlesnake, anything? Could they have got it if they had the cash? I know for a fact that my good friends at Hamburg that vend there would not allow this to happen. I know this for a fact. I mean, I could have them on the radio station right now, and he'll tell you that it's crazy. He wouldn't do it. I guarantee it. I would bet everything I have on it. So this story is something that was sitting with me until I did the show for about 4 days. I don't understand where these vendors are getting their morals at, but the mother has every right to be furious. A 4-foot alligator, guys, being sold for $150 to a 17-year-old. That's just insane to me. That's just totally, totally, totally insane. So I don't get it. And that's why I want to jump into the venomous hobby a little bit and with this story. And the venomous hobby is something that I hold near and dear to my heart, even though I can't own venomous snakes. Well, I could in Wisconsin. There are venomous snakes I could own if I moved out of the area that I'm in because there is a city ordinance against it. But the venomous hobby means something to me. I came into it with a lot of great people around me that gave me animals and did a lot of cool things for me and gave me advice and protected me when I was going to buy the wrong animal. It's just at the point where I don't want to lose it, even though I don't own any, if you get what I'm saying. We're going to probably do a show where we're going to be doing an interview. I'm going to see if we can get Al on. I'm sure he'll do it. And there's some other venomous people I want to get on. I want to get Jim Harrison on from the Kentucky Reptile Zoo. I'm sure he'll do it for me. All I got to do is shoot him a message and, say, hey, dude, let's do a radio show about venom collecting and, put them rumors from the Venom Hunter show to shame, put them down. Because that Venom Hunter show has a little bit of history. Maybe we'll talk about that on another video. But a lot of people don't know the truth about the Venom Hunters and how many people it was actually offered to before they finally came down to who took it. But anyways, that doesn't matter. We'll get Jim on here and we'll talk to a real venom collector and tell you that venom isn't gold. And you're going to be hearing a cockatoo in the background, guys. That is my wife's cockatoo. My mics are pretty decent and they're going to pick them up. So I apologize for that, but it is an animal show, so it's not that big a deal, right? But I want to get Jim Harrison on. I want to get Al Karitz on, and we'll talk some venomous hobby, and we'll get some live callers in, and they can ask some questions about the venomous hobby and what it's like to run a zoo. Jim runs a zoo and he milks snakes, but he'll tell you that it's not liquid gold. I promise you that it's not liquid gold. So that's something planned for the future. Now here's for the second half of this hour. I wanted to save this for the second half because this is something near to my heart. Social media. Is it a blessing or a killer? And I want to tell you guys a story before and then after. If you guys listen to my little test show, you guys probably heard some of this story, but I do have a lot of new listeners today, and this one's going to be permanently up for download. I want to tell you a story about before social media, and now I want to tell you about it after social media, okay? I was a very young kid down in Columbus, Ohio. Well, I lived in Toledo, Ohio, outside Toledo, Ohio, but I was doing the Columbus, Ohio show. I had a person that would take me down there, and he was teaching me the game, as I put it. Mark and Kim Bell used to vend that show, Brian Barczyk, the Hampers, ECO. I'm telling you, the list goes on at who vended the Columbus, Ohio show. It all started in Columbus, Ohio. A lot of people don't know that the very first show, monthly show ever is Columbus, Ohio. So when my punk butt would go down there, I got to meet all these terrific breeders, and they took me under their wing. And I'm not joking. I could go behind Mark and Kim Bell's table and touch anything I wanted, hold anything I wanted. The rule was if I get bit, don't complain about it, And I play with all the Hampers animals and Brian's animals and ECOs and all these people. They had animals. I mean, I'm just a young kid that was there with a friend that vended, and I could do whatever I want. And, of course, I was cocky. I was young. I was 16 years old, But where it happened is I saved up, and I'm not joking. I bred corn snakes on by mistake when I was younger. I bred corn snakes, hatched corn snakes, and I sold them off for mice. No joke. These corn snakes to a local pet store for mice. But anyways, to go back to the Columbus show, I saved up some money, and I bought myself a jungle carpet python off of the Hampers, a male jungle carpet python. They gave me a really good deal. It was a breeder size, proven breeder, and it was gorgeous. It was awesome, you know. So I was all excited about it, and that's what I had. Well, I'm not even sure if Brian remembers this or not, but this was a long time ago. I'm talking mid-90s. Okay, this is when this was 95, possibly. So Brian looks at me, and I'm carrying around this jungle carpet python, and whatever. That's what I was doing. And he goes, "What is it?" And I'm like, "It's a male. I got it from Ron." And he's like, "I have something for you." He digs underneath this table, pulls out a bag, and pulls out a 7-foot female jungle carpet python and hands it to me. No joke. He hands it to me and goes, "There you go." Well, I go home and I research the hell out of these jungle carpet pythons, and I breed them. I produce eggs. And the funny story is I was so cocky back then, and I thought I knew everything in the world. I got these eggs to hatch, and I thought I did something wrong because if you don't know, jungle carpet babies look different than adults. They're like a tan and brown, not a black and yellow. So I'm thinking something's wrong. I run to my friend Joel. I'm like, "Look, dude, I got these jungle carpet pythons, but they don't look it. Did Hamper sell me the wrong thing, or did Brian give me something wrong? What did I do wrong?" And he laughed at me and says, "That's what jungle carpets are, Gary." And I'm not joking. This is before social media, guys. This is when AOL, you got mail type crap was out still. Okay, so I'm like, okay, cool. I got them all to eat. He told me I got to get them to eat 3 to 5 times. I got all of them to eat. Some of them ate 7 times, some of them ate 3 times. And I took them to the Columbus show. And these jungle carpet pythons went for good money back then. I swear to this day, when everyone at that show seen that I had jungle carpet pythons, they took them off their table and let me sell them. And I sold out of all of them. And I had 12. Sold them within hours. They were all gone. So, stupid Gary takes that money and I buy some blood pythons. And that's how I started into the game. That's what I did. I started in the game, and that's how I really started researching it. That's how I learned how to research where they came from and what, the temperatures, where they're from, and the humidity, and blah, blah, blah. But I started in 2 very difficult back then species of breed: blood pythons, Sumatrans, and jungle carpet pythons. That was what I started with, and that's what I did. And I got into it, and yes, I did. I would buy and resell animals. Everyone did back then. Everyone. That's what we did. Someone bring in a clutch of animals and say, "Here, you guys want them? We don't." I would rather have that snake and sell all these things, But anyways, that's how everyone helped each other back then. I mean, they pulled all their animals off for a young punk kid, so he would sell them. A breeder gave me an animal, and one gave me a killer deal on an animal, and it wasn't ego-driven. Not ego-driven at all. We all hung out after and before the show. We all got along. It was a different time. It was a different time that we all got along. We all looked at each other, and we bounced ideas, and we traded animals, and it was more of a family than it is today. Now, social media does do a lot of great things. Social media did a lot of good things. Social media put reptiles on the map a little bit more and brought more people into it and gave more people a voice. But back then, it seemed like more people are helping each other, because today there's people that don't like Brian Barczyk. There's people that don't like the Tom Crutchfields. There's people that don't like the Hampers. all these people influenced me when I was younger. All these people were different back then too. And the Hampers are like family. They treat me like I was a son when you're there. And I used to vend their shows in Cleveland and in Columbus up until about 7-8 years ago when I stopped vending shows. So really good people. My brother still vends their shows to this day because he still owns Pro Herps. But that's the difference. Now today, social media, I see a lot more fighting. I go on Facebook and I see people do this and say this. To give an example, I mean, we got in a fight about gecko eggs, and I mean, I proved it on a video. One of my videos, I got to find it. What we were arguing about, and me and one other guy were having a nice conversation, but another person was getting really upset about it. And I'm like, we're having a conversation. We're talking about reptiles. This is how we learn. This is how things get done. I always tell people, just because your opinion is it's not doesn't mean it's not. Facts are facts. Opinions are opinions. There's a lot of different things out there, a lot of different ways. And today's social media it's more about how many likes you get or how many people follow you instead of what the animals are. If they breed a ball python and it's not liked that much and it's not worth that much, they don't want that one anymore. They want the newest and best thing, and it's just rotated through, and that's not who I am, and that's not who I was back then. And I'm trying to go back to my roots a little bit and go back to enjoying the animals a little bit more. And I know a lot of my friends that hung around me when I bred leopard geckos a few years ago. They know what I'm talking about. They're that way. I want to breed animals, but I'm going to go into educational a little bit more. And social media in that point is going to help out because I can actually advertise and push out, my educational show, and I can advertise some other educational shows and some rescues and stuff like that, and maybe make a difference in this, hobby a little bit. Because to be honest, I see a lot of people that's coming in this reptile hobby that I was a young punk just like they are. I'm going to tell you that right now, but I didn't have social media to go out there and make a fool of myself. I mean, I made a fool of myself in front of 20 people, not a million people. I would tell them, and they'd just look at me, Gary, you don't know. Just do what we say, and you'll be fine. And I learned really quick. And now with social media, I've lost some people that I used to call friends because of competition. And the competition of, I don't know how to also put it other than, I ate a morph before they did, or they didn't like that I made this morph before, after they did, and mine looks better or whatever. Or, a friend of mine did something with a Venomoid that I didn't like, and I spoke up about it. And I guess that was the wrong thing to do because he has not talked to me since that day. But I stand my ground. You don't free handle a Venomoid and publicly put it out there as thinking you're cool. I still stand by that. So just because I don't agree with some things that they do, I guess I'm wrong now. And I think I blame social media. I blame social media, that double-edged sword. But like I said, it's a blessing at the same time that we can get the right word out if a lot of the people can group together and maybe do something for this hobby. And I mean, we got like the Wally Kearns that do wonderful things for this hobby, and the Brandon Fowlers that do wonderful things for this hobby. People like that, we should mimic them, and not try to be the biggest, baddest breeder, but be the biggest, baddest ambassador of the hobby. Because, I mean, it's not who has the biggest collection. It's not who has the best collection. It's just if you have one, if you have an animal, if you have something that you enjoy. It doesn't matter if it's a scorpion. It doesn't matter if it's a corn snake. It doesn't matter if it's a Pac-Man frog. If you have something, you enjoy it, and you like to research it, and you like to feed it and clean it, and whatever. Videotape it and put it up on YouTube. Your frog eating a cricket. Enjoy it. And we should embrace that because the animals are the stars of the show. Because I know this is probably going to make some people mad. Breeding is just putting them in a box and letting them mate. I mean, it's that simple. You put them in a box and you let them mate and you get an egg and then you hatch the egg. I mean, I've bred some very difficult species. And when you think of what it is, it's that. You put them in a box. It could be a plastic cage, a rack, or a glass box, whatever you want to call it. You get them to mate, and then they either have live babies or they lay eggs. And then if they lay eggs, you cook them. I mean, there is some art in breeding some species, yes. But that doesn't make us king of the world. It's time to make the animals the stars of the show again. And I'm hoping with this show we can do that. I'm hoping with the show we can take and make that turn and make people love this hobby like I love it, and I know that you love it. I know there's tons of people out there that love this hobby, and they sit back, and I've seen a lot of my friends to this day drop off a little bit because of how things are going now. We don't have to do that, guys. We can still have a voice, and we can still talk great and talk positive things. We can sit there and educate who wants to listen. We can educate the people with what we know for the ears that do want to listen. And there's plenty of young people out there that want to listen to us. They want to listen to our mistakes and our good things that we've done, our accomplishments. They want to learn. They want to. And I'm telling you that because my own daughter and son want to. And they listen. They open that ear. And I tell them all the time, I don't know everything. There's no one that knows everything. Everyone should use their ears twice as much as their mouth. There's things that a lot of people, how should I put it? There's a lot of people out there that know a lot more, but they're quiet because they don't like the drama on social media. And I think that we can change that as a whole. And hopefully this radio show is going to help change that a little bit and make social media a better place. And social media is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all the other apps now. I mean, shoot, I feel old not knowing them all. I seriously do. I'm going to be turning 40 years old, guys, here in January. And it's insane. I look back at what I did. I mean, I was telling you guys about a story in 1995, and I'm thinking like, wow, that was a while ago, wasn't it? And stuff like that. So social media, I'm up in the air about it. I do think it does have a double-edged sword. I think there's some good things and some bad things that go along with it, but I believe that we can change this, okay? We can change it, and we can actually put the positive vibe back out there. The people that are listening to this and know who they are, the Brandons and the Scotts and the Morgans and the Wallies, we need to open it back up. And Eric Roscoe, I just seen him pop up again on the screen. These people here are who we need to mimic, and we need to get their voices out there and the positivity, guys. And when that person, that little kid breeds their leopard geckos and they produce just a wild type leopard gecko, we need to get excited about it, just like someone that's producing the next newest morph. We need to go ahead and we need to get excited about it, guys. We need to get hyped because that little kid's hyped. We need to get excited when someone sits there and they breed a rare species of animals that's not being imported anymore because it's an accomplishment, we need to get excited about the animals again, guys. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it. And I don't care what it takes. We're going to do it. We're going to make this positive, and we're going to go back to the old school ways. I was talking to Pat the other day, a few weeks ago, and he says it's time to school the new kids. And I like that. I was like, oh, well, I want to school the new kids, but I don't want to scare them away. I want them to enjoy the hobby. And it's not a competition. It's an enjoyment of animals and what we can do to educate the people and show everyone in this world that reptiles are not as bad as people think they are. They're actually very, very, very cool animals to own, all of them in their own right. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing with the show from now on, and I'll tell you what we're going to be hitting on. I'm doing a live feed on Orner Exotics. I might just keep it on Orner Exotics YouTube channel. I'm not totally sure. So if you guys ever want to go there, I will start watching the chat. I didn't today because all my planning was on the screen. So everyone that's watching on Orner Exotics right now, you're going to see my eyes looking at you now. But I'm usually looking at the screen, okay? That's because I don't have a plan on a piece of paper that I can look at and glance at. It's all on my screen, and I need to change that. Anyone that has a reptile rescue, please contact me, and I will get you an advertisement out there 100% free. Anyone that's got an educational show and you want to get some advertisement out there, it is 100% free. 100% free. Get it out. Get it to me. Give me what you want me to say, something like that. I'll give you some plugs. Brandon, I already got some stuff ideas for you. I got to get in touch with you yet. Excuse me. I need to get that up. I need banner ads because you guys will get free advertisement on the radio show's webpage. 100% free, like I said. Educational and rescues get free. If you are a reptile breeder, you do supplies or anything like that, and you want to go ahead and advertise, just get in touch with me, and I will get them. Get you some quotes. It will not be that expensive because everything earned will go back into the show. It does cost a little bit of money to keep the radio shows going, but as you see, I'm trying to get 24/7. But anything helps, and I want to try to give away some prizes. So if you guys want, if there's someone out there wants some advertisement and you want to give away a prize, let me know what you want to give away. We'll talk about what kind of contest you want to have, and we'll have the contest, and that'll be you'll have that show. We'll have you sponsor that show. And we'll go ahead and give a lot of shout outs to you. And the winner of that will get in contact with you and we'll get, the prize to them. If you do not want them to have your information for some reason and you want to go ahead and donate a prize to the show for somebody, you can go ahead and contact me. I will give you my mailing address. I will not say it over the air. I'm sorry about that. But you can contact me and I will go ahead and, we'll put it aside and we'll get some, contests going or something like that. I'm thinking about doing like photo contests or, maybe like back in the day questions and who answers it. We'll do like on episode 3, I said this, what was the answer or something like that. We'll go ahead and get anything going to get the games going and stuff. Give some free live. You'll have to listen live to win the stuff. I have not got a time frame when I'm going to do it every week, but I want to get it settled. If the show does take off, and we get lots and lots of people listening and we got co-hosts and interviews, we will go to 2 times a week. I promise you that. I do have time. I just want to make sure that the shows have content. The show was more of an introduction show, and I talked about the reptile market and what happened in Hamburg and stuff. But we will do 2 times a week if we get the people, we get the interviews. If you want to give anything to me and any ideas or anything, and you are not on my friends list, or if you don't want to message me on Facebook, my name is Gary Orner Jr. on there, or you can go ahead and email me at gary@thetotalradio.com. That's going to be my contact information right now. I will get something up for coldbloodedradio.com soon, but all you got to do is email me at gary@thetotalradio.com. That's gary@thetotalradio.com. You can give me people that you would like to interview. If you would like to get on the radio show and get interviewed or talk about something, let's go ahead and get it done. Like I said, if you would like to take a show and we'll co-host a show together, this is about the animals, guys. I'm all for it. You can give me a holler. We'll get you on the air and we'll talk about any topic that you would like to talk about. And we'll go from there. We're going to be able to take live calls next show. I could take live calls this show, but I had some stuff I wanted to get out. Live calls will happen next show. I'm going to try to get 3 lines going. 1 line will be for interviews and 2 lines will be for call-ins. And it will not have a hold button, guys. So how it will be is when we have one person on, the other phone will not be answered. So until I get the right lines going. So what's going to happen is you call and you go on, I hang up and we go to the next. It's not going to be anything personal, so don't think. If we got an interview going on and you got a question, we're going to have you answer the question or ask the question, and then we'll hang up, let the listeners listen to the answer, then we'll answer the next call. Until I get a system where I can actually put calls on hold, that's what we're going to have to do. And pretty soon it's going to happen. And also, we are going to be putting out an application. It's going to be for Android only. Right now, we're working on the Apple OIS right now also, but Android app is in the works. You're going to be able to listen to us live or download our shows as a podcast at any time. It is 100% free. We are working on the Apple version, but Apple does have some issues with the coder I have in the App Store and blah, 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 blah. That is in the technical backgrounds that it might cost a little bit more money. When I say a little bit more money, a lot more money for the app to get over to Apple. And that is just crazy. So, but I'm trying to work through it. You guys know that I used to code for websites and stuff. It is a total different ball game today, guys. Total different ball game. So that's in the mix also. And if you guys are interested, I will be going ahead and I'm going to be posting the links. It's going to be the same links that you guys clicked on today, but Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be doing Whistling Radio. Whistling Radio is going to be hosted with my wife, Laura, and myself. We're going to be talking about birds. There's a lot of topics listed. I don't have them in front of me right now, but we're going to be having a lot of listeners for the birds from No Flocks Given. It's a website or webpage on Facebook. So if any of you guys are listening, welcome into the reptile world. And we're going to be talking birds Friday night. It's going to be a fun night. I promise you it's going to be a fun night. I don't know everything about birds, but we're going to be talking about them. I promise you that. We're going to be doing live calls probably that night. Get some stories out there and stuff like that. The next reptile show, I will be posting it on my personal page. For sure, I got to get the Facebook page up and going. So most of you guys are getting this from my personal page anyway, and I am going to start advertising on Craigslist. I'm looking for ways to advertise the radio show a little bit more. So if you got an idea, throw me a message on Facebook or email me at Gary at thetotalradio.com. I almost said the reptileroom.org, but that's for next show. I want to talk about TRR and the future of TRR, and that's right. TRR may be coming back. So if you are a TRR member and you're listening to this now and you have something to say, let me know. You guys know how to get a hold of me. All my old moderators and admins are still friends of mine. So give me a holler about that. So the next show I was going to talk about, I gave you a little bit. I was going to talk about TRR and where the future holds for the reptileroom.org. For all my new friends that I met when I started breeding geckos heavily, TRR used to be a forum, one of the largest forums in the net. I think it was ranked like number 4, something like that, back in the late 2000s. It was a fun place. It was an amazing place. But we're going to be doing that, and also the radio show might be having a live video feed. So we might not be. We'll still do YouTube. Don't worry about that. But it might also have a live TV feed. I'm not totally sure how we're going to go about this. How it's going to go about. I'm talking to my coder now and seeing what we can do to get it broadcasted out. And see, I mean, basically to me, just like the internet radio we listen to now, but it'd be like watching it like on YouTube live. And we're gonna figure that out too. So I appreciate everyone listening today. I know that sometimes I can ramble on, and I'm trying to keep this really focused. And when I start getting the callers in, we're gonna go ahead and get that rocking and rolling, and it'll keep me more focused. And once I start getting the interviews. So please know, if you guys know anyone you want interviewed, please message me or email me. And if there is anyone that wants to just jump on and talk on a show, just let me know. We'll get you on and we'll get you co-hosting a show or something on here. We'll talk about anything you basically want. You want to talk about breeding? You want to talk about the market? You want to talk about a project you're having or something like that? I have a show scheduled for that. I just got to find out what time it's going to be. But in the next few episodes, we're going to be talking about dream projects and projects from you, and then we're going to open up the phone lines and let you guys call in and talk about the projects that you would like to do. So I appreciate you guys tuning in and let me ramble on to you guys and stuff like that. So this is Gary Orner with the Cold Blooded Radio on thetotalradio.com. I appreciate tuning in. Talk to you guys soon.